It's the Score North Twin Show.
I was really, really happy with it. We were able to come up with a good plan. We knew that today's game was extremely, extremely important, after losing the first one. So we came up with a good plan. We still wanted to be aggressive. Like, even though what happened yesterday already happened, we knew that we were just going to try to control what we could control today. And then it became about execution, and things were going well, and I was able to execute the pitches that we needed to, and if we needed to make any adjustments, we were also able to bring that to the table.
Look at that. What a badass. Pablo Lopez just shoving in his first two postseason games as a Twin. It's like that was just kind of sleeping on that game last night. That was even more cathartic in some ways than the wild card round, because we haven't lived just a stress-free Twins postseason experience in 20 years. Where they just beat the brakes off somebody, and there's very little doubt the entire game that they're, not going to hold on.
Right. And how about the fact that I saw some post-game reports from the Houston side. I guess the crowd was just dead.
Yeah.
Like he just took away their will to be there. Wow. How great is that? There is nothing. It's my humble opinion that one of the greatest experiences on the face of the earth is hearing a crowd just have their will to be a fan taken away, which happens to us far too much.
It does.
But it's so much fun when it's a guy on the team that you're cheering for. Just rips the enthusiasm out of that crowd. And I guess it was just a mortuary in Houston.
And I would have expected those Houston fans to be more self-aware that, hey, if we don't make some noise and help this team out, this is the last time we're going to watch playoff baseball in 2023. Now, that was the last shot.
Now it's our house.
Twins ain't going back to Houston.
Did you see the battery for Game 3? I just saw a report for the first pitch.
I did see this.
Yeah, in fact, I have this in front of me here. Joe Mauer and Johan Santana.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So they've done, let's see here, Tom Kelly and Kent Herbeck.
Yep.
And then we had Justin Morneau and Ron Gardenhire. And now we're going Johan Santana, Joe Mauer. And then we also have a Game 4 battery. Have you seen the Game 4 battery?
No.
We're going Gary Gaetti and Dan Gladden, Twins Hall of Famers and 1987 World Champions.
Love it. I love it. Now, you know what? I feel a little bit bad for my guy, Lotz. I mean, he was on the 87 team, had some key hits, and he was a catcher. But I do like this.
Well, if they keep going here, if they keep performing the way that they are, and I think Frank Viola's been on kind of bad terms with the organization at times. I don't know. You never see him around, right? Frankie V. Let's get if there's any sort of issues there, let's put them aside, because the Twins are going to keep playing home playoff games. We can go Frankie V and Laudner. Jack Morris, Brian Harper.
Where is Harp? I haven't seen or heard from Harp in years.
AJ Pierzynski.
Now, I was going to just say
Brad Radke or something.
There you go.
I don't know that they would. But
Mackey and Judd.
Pierzynski's going to be there. He's in the booth, right?
Dude, what? Okay, just quick thing, and then we'll get to some thoughts.
Yeah,
I actually have a take to throw at you guys, and then the Twins are on the grid today too. The Twins are on the Immaculate Grid.
Ooh.
I love the broadcast. Adam Wainwright, AJ Pierzynski. Is it Adam Amin? Is the play-by-play
Adam
guy?
Amin was
very good.
Love Adam Amin.
Just a perfect combination of humor, analysis. You had arguing about situations, and no, those guys aren't the most analytical, spreadsheet baseball guys. I don't want that in my baseball broadcast. I want guys to tell me the psychology of what's happening, right? The strategy of what's happening. I think there's still a lot of Twins fans that just can't stand AJ Pierzynski, and I don't know why. He loved being here. He was a huge contributor on a playoff run team in 2002. He was a great Minnesota Twin, and then against his wishes, the Twins traded him to San Francisco for a haul of players.
One of the great trades in Twins history.
Francisco Liriano, Boof Bonser, and then they slid Joe Mauer in at catcher. AJ loves the Twins. Just because those guys pump the Astros tires a little bit too, it's a national broadcast. So I don't know. I think most people thought the broadcast was great, but I heard from a lot of Twins fans that AJ has no business calling a Twins game. let's get over the AJ hate here, okay?
Those two together, I think, are great because they often don't agree. The only thing, so the Wainwright advantage right now, and this is the same thing that Tony Romo had initially, is because he just played. Like, he knows guys, tendencies, players better than anybody. Mm-hmm. The only thing long term, and why I think he needs to be in a two-man booth, is, and I don't know why this is, because Smoltz developed the same thing. You do get too much of, well, the old school is best. But Pierzynski keeps him honest, which I like a lot. Mm-hmm. Waino, though, is going to have a tendency. I hear him devolve into, they can't do, bad for the game or this or that. Baseball just made about, you guys, 4 changes, like significant changes that I had questions about. Every one of them worked.
In terms of attendance being up, ratings being up.
It just helped the game.
Yeah, the game feeling.
But like the electronic strike zone, they basically are crapping on the plate umpire through both the first 2 games, but then Waino says, but they can't go to the electronic strike zone. It's like, well, actually, yeah, they can.
I know some fans didn't like it, but I will say, during game 1, when I think it was AJ was doing his Rocco voice, did you guys pick up on that? Like, he was kind of making fun of it. No, we don't know our plan yet.
Yeah.
I liked that. Like, that was funny.
It's
like
salty.
It's funny.
He is who he is, man. And
yeah.
And he's got a podcast too that's doing well. Like, he's a media guy, and he did nothing but great things for the Twins in the early 2000s. So yeah, when he played for the White Sox, you hate him a little bit, right?
He did Spike Morneau, which is probably his one thing which is really, really
those guys are fine. Those guys are over it, right?
They're competitors.
If Morneau doesn't care,
you don't need to spike him though. Like that was the one weird thing. But booing him constantly I never got.
I remember in game 163 in 08 when, for whatever reason, they sent Kadire on one ankle on a short, shallow fly ball to center field. And when AJ tagged him out at the plate on the bang bang play, he just put the glove right in Cuddy's face, which I was as a teenager, I hated it. As an adult, I love it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that part.
Yeah.
Just don't spike guys.
All right, here's my question for you guys. The Twins have now just fallen into a wealth of playoff wins now. We don't know. We can't even count how many playoff wins they've had in the last week. It's great. We went 20 years, couldn't get a playoff win. Now it's just every day there's a new playoff win. Do you think the Twins can win the World Series this year?
No. I don't think they have enough starting pitching in best 4 of 7s that I trust. Okay. Enough. I love the first 2 guys. I mean, they are, and I actually have, and we've discussed this previously, but the bullpen, I think, is pretty damn solidified now. But do I think that they can win the World Series? Do I think they have enough pitching that I trust from a starting standpoint to win 4 of 7 back-to-back? No. But remember, 87, you basically had 2 guys, Viola and Bert. And they did it. So if you want to draw comparisons to 30 some odd years ago now, there is a parallel to talk about, I guess.
They are the best team remaining in the American League.
We're gonna win, Twins. We're gonna score.
They are the best team remaining in the American League. Baltimore's down 2-0 here.
I like their pitching. I don't think that they do not, but I mean, they don't compare it to Texas with the bats now.
But they beat up Texas.
They also have
but Texas was struggling. Texas is very weird.
I believe let's look at the data. Let's look at the data. I'm pretty sure the Twins have a higher team OPS in the second half of the season than
they probably did. Texas went off. Texas struggled, and now, but the Twins, in fairness to this entire conversation, the Twins also aren't the team that they were at one point this season. And when I said when the Twins played Texas, bring on the Rangers, they were struggling at the plate. And I will say, I do think their bullpen's not good. But right now they are just mashing again. So
I think the answer is yes to this question. I think they can win the World Series. Now, in the National League, you got the Atlanta Braves sitting over there with one of the great offenses in our lifetimes. It might be the best offense in 20 years in baseball by a lot of. They tied the Twins home run record, right? Without the juiced ball. Didn't they tie it? They hit 307 home runs this year.
They tied it.
You know, they've got up and down the lineup. They've got, I mean, so Acuna is the best player in baseball. I'm getting like 2 weeks ahead of ourselves here, by the way, but I am looking at the Braves.
Yeah, go for it.
So Acuna is the best player in baseball, 73 stolen bases, 41 home runs. But then you also have like Matt Olson, who hit 54 home runs for that team.
Yep.
Marcell Ozuna hit 40 home runs for that team. Ozzie Albies, who's not even one of their 4 best hitters, had 33 homers, 109 RBI. So like that lineup is just one dude after another. So I think I'm aligned with Declan. The Twins are the best remaining team in the American League. And baseball can be weird in small samples. So if you can get to the World Series, the Braves would be a heavy favorite. Maybe the Phillies knock them off. You know? Stranger things have happened. The Braves would be like a 2-1 favorite to win the World Series, but we've now entered, I think, Twins can win the World Series or at least get to the World Series watch. All right?
I think get to the World Series. I think get to the World Series. What worries me about Texas is this. If they continue as they are playing right now, games 1 and 2, if it's lined up that it's Lopez and Gray, I like your chances. Mm-hmm. Game 3, I think you get hammered because it's Ryan or Ober. And Texas is crushing the ball right now. So games 3 and 4 actually concern me then. And then it becomes a little bit more of a wild card. But if your question to me had been, can they make the World Series right now with the way that they're playing? Yes, I do.
Sounds like you're more scared about Texas than we are, though. Like, Texas is good, but the Twins are good. And in the second half of the season, the Twins had the 4th best weighted on base average, which is its OPS put into its proper context. And Texas was 7th, but there was a notable gap between the Twins' offense and Texas's offense in the second half of the season. All right, let's say Texas has gotten a little bit hotter, so you're seeing like a hotter version of their offense.
Exactly.
I'll still take the Twins' bullpen 10 times out of 10 over Texas.
The bullpen I agree with.
I'll take Pablo Lopez over any starter Texas has.
The bullpen I do agree with.
And the Twins are playing, they would play the majority of the games in that series at home against Texas because they would be the higher seed.
Yeah.
If you want to keep pouring cold water on this party, Judd,
I think they have a chance to win. I think they have a chance to get there.
All second half of the season.
But I said at one point, bring on Texas. And what I'm telling you now is
now you're scared.
The bats have gotten hot. I do not think it's an automatic that they can beat them. I think it'd be a good series.
Okay. We're also like way ahead of ourselves here because
the Twins still have to win 2 more games.
It's a 1-1 series against Houston. So with that being said, I feel like. And I know we looked last night, too. The Twins are like a -150, so the Twins are favorites in Game 3. I just think now that you've gotten a game in Houston here, not to put any extra pressure on the Twins, who shouldn't feel any, by the way. They've checked all the boxes they've needed to. This should just be just fun times here. Like, people expect the Braves to win the World Series. There's some pressure. Philadelphia always has pressure. There's no pressure here. This is all just gravy and house money for the Twins. I think they have the advantage in these next 2 games from a pitching standpoint. And I think Houston's a little rattled. Like their offense, after seeing some of these relievers like Duran, you know, how many times have the Twins had a reliever where like the opposing team is sitting there saying, boy, like we need to score before the 8th inning or we're not going to get any. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel very confident that the Twins have the advantage in these next 2 games at Target Field.
I feel Game 3 for sure, no question about it. Game 4, I think the fans give it the Twins a slight advantage regardless now because they're going to show up. They're going to be loud. It helps. The other thing, though, is I would actually, I think with the key players on this Twins team, that if there is pressure, it's almost better. Like, I think Carlos Correa thrives on that.
Loves it.
I think last night Lopez thrived on pressure. Mm-hmm. I think Bailey Ober is or Gray. I'm sorry. I think Sonny Gray is a guy, not Bailey Ober. Sonny Gray is a guy who's going to thrive on pressure. You just said Royce Lewis. So I don't want them to feel like, you know, hey, it's just fun now. I want those because if you look at the playoffs so far, They have not gotten a great performance, especially with the bats, from a lot of guys. But the guys that we would have said at the start of the playoffs, okay, if they're going to win games, these guys have to step up, have. And I think part of it is because they know how to embrace pressure. And like Correa is example 1A of that. So like the pressure is a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm really curious how Joe Ryan responds in game 4. Because he's been basically the afterthought so far throughout this entire playoff run. Like, think about this. The Twins have played, four playoff games since the playoffs began. He has not started one of them. He has not appeared in one of them.
Yeah.
And he, throughout the majority of the season, I know there was a blip with his hamstring and there was a problem with his home run ball. He was legit one of their most consistent hitters. And now he's going to go on a chip with his shoulder, potentially either with winning the series over the defending champion Astros or trying to force a game 5 again against the defending champion Astros. I think I'm like tomorrow, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win because weird things happen in baseball. Mm-hmm. I am fascinated to see what version of Joe Ryan shows up in game 4.
Yeah. And even if the bad version shows up, if you can get the Sonny Gray game in game 3, you then get Pablo Lopez again in game 5. And I know that the Astros would say, cool, we get Justin Verlander in game 5. But
bring it on.
I mean, Pablo Lopez has been untouchable basically for the first 2 starts. The other wild card here, as we evaluate, like, what can the Twins do in this series, the rest of the postseason, relative to sort of the team that we saw in the second half, all the great things that we've said about the Twins being a different team in the second half, a team that was like 15 games above 500 from their low point in like late June. All of that goodwill was built up and all of that damage was done without the best version of Carlos Correa. And that's the scariest thing about this team is we saw an injured, hobbled, less than version of Carlos Correa for 6 months. Even last year, he wasn't really battling the foot issue, but he didn't like turn it on until September. It's been 2 years of Correa.
Yes.
And the first year was just, for whatever reason, the first year, he was fine, but he didn't produce at the level that you had hoped. And the second year, he was hurt all year. He's clearly not hurt like he was a month ago. And you're now just getting one of the greatest postseason players in modern baseball history plopped into the middle of this lineup, shortstop, making plays all over the place, swagger. It's a different equation when you get this version of Carlos Correa.
If Correa had played at 75% of the way that he is playing right now the entire year, this team is never despicable. Like that first half is different. And I'm not saying 100% of what we're seeing in the playoffs. I'm saying 75%. If we had seen this at the plate, because in the field he's been marvelous. Mm-hmm. This team is never like, oh man, I can't stand him, which is how I felt. But yes, you are getting, and this is really the rare thing in Minnesota sports. And it's one of the biggest problems of why the teams here, the main teams that we talk about on our shows, haven't succeeded in the playoffs. If you think about it, how often have we seen guys embrace the pressure and then thrive off the pressure? I'm talking across all our sports, not the Twins, not just the Vikings, not just the Wolves, the Wild. Mm-hmm. You know, Kaprizov sort of did this in the first round 2 years ago, but was a shell of himself last spring. I'm talking about a guy who or a couple of guys who can take a series by the throat and say, I don't care how Kirilloff does. I don't care how Kepler does. Like, if they contribute, awesome.
Yeah.
But if they just do their job, like they're not butchering balls in the field, if they just do their job, we've got the horses who are like, screw it, bring on the pressure, and they can pretty much win the games by themselves, which is what Lopez and Correa did last night.
Well, and we just saw, there's Patrick Mahomes came to US Bank Stadium, and
yes,
he just has this sort of, I don't know, man, like he has this confidence and he has
swagger.
And he's good. Yeah, this swagger.
He's got the swagger, yeah.
And he's good enough to sort of cash in on it that just makes everyone else believe too. And I think that the team is better. Brady had that too. You have to be good enough, but then the team kind of rallies around your belief. Correa has that quality. There's a Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady quality about him. I don't think he doesn't put up the same numbers relative to his sport because Mahomes has it and then like puts up the biggest numbers. Correa during the regular season doesn't put up the numbers that some of these aforementioned Braves hitters put up, but in the postseason he does. The fact that he just passed Derek Jeter and David Ortiz for most postseason RBIs, he's like third all time in postseason RBIs. So it's such a game changer to have that in the middle of your lineup, in the middle of the field. The Twins are on the grid too, by the way, so we should get to that in a second. But I want to shout out one trend to keep an eye on for Game 3 here, okay? Let me give you a little bit of statistical analysis here. Football. Okay? Christian Javier is the starting pitcher for the Astros in this Game 3. He's going to face Sonny Gray. So Sonny Gray had the better season. Sonny Gray is overall the better pitcher. Christian Javier, a good pitcher, right-handed, throws like mid-90s, 26 years old. But here's the trend to watch. 75% of Christian Javier's batted balls are fly balls. He is one of the lowest ground ball rates of any starting pitcher in baseball. So he lives and dies by inducing pop-ups or weak fly balls. The Twins hitters collectively this season had one of the highest fly ball rates in baseball and the second highest home run per fly ball rate. Football. Okay? Behind only the Braves. So the Twins love to hit fly balls, and a pretty high percentage of their fly balls, 15% on the season, go over the fence. So you have a pitcher here from this trend that's playing right into the hands of this Twins lineup. The Twins want to hit towering fly balls. They would like those fly balls to hit the wall or go over. And Christian Javier gives up a ton of fly balls.
Always playing right into what we want is what you're saying.
Buckle up at Target Field tomorrow. Yes.
Can I give you one more Christian Javier trend with some statistical analysis?
Oh, let's go.
Hitters when facing a 1-0 count this year. A 1-0 count. So he falls behind first pitch. 1-0 count. Javier has given up 15 home runs when hitters have a 1-0 count against him. So if they see that first pitch, they don't like it, and he grooves one right down Broadway, right in the middle of what that hitter's looking for, just kind of like what A-Rod was talking about with Royce Lewis in that epic at-bat, Game 1 against Gausman. If he grooves one early after the first pitch mistake, that ball's gone. That ball's going to be gone.
Nice.
Buckle up, Christian Javier.
Nice.
Buckle up, guy.
Football.
Right. Yeah. Hey, a shout out to our friends at Ugly Deck who've jumped on board for this postseason run here on the Score North Twin Show, Judd.
They have indeed. And if you are looking to, actually, it's funny, they're called Ugly Deck, but if you are looking to give yourself a beautiful deck, then uglydeck.com has the offer for you right now. It's a Reserve My Deck Package Now special for the DIYer who wants to build a deck in the spring. And here's the most important thing, save thousands of dollars. This is only for a limited number of customers who reserve their deck package. Now, uglydeck.com is offering up to $1,000 off a full deck package plus locked-in 2023 pricing. Uglydeck.com will then deliver your deck package to your driveway by May 1st, 2024, and you will be the smartest DIYer on the block. You're saving as much as, get this, $10,000 on your deck bill, 10 grand. And with Ugly Deck, you get free plans, a free coach, access to their online deck build academy, and they will install your footings and ledger. You do the rest. You save huge. So go to uglydeck.com today. Click on the, again, Reserve My Deck Package Now button and make sure that you tell them, hey, you know what? I want a beautiful deck. I went to Ugly Deck and I heard about it on that Twin Show.
Amen. Also, hey, in the Twin Cities, we saw a lot of hail. There was like 3 hailstorms of note that I can remember just in my neck of the woods. I'm sure other people saw even more. And so that's where Hire a Pro comes in. So you can earn a profit on a hail claim. Roofers do it all the time when they ask for your insurance check. They just know all the different materials to order, the crew to hire, how to negotiate with insurance. So Hire a Pro takes care of all of this for you, allowing you to make a profit on a hail claim. Roofers hate these guys because they show you everything a roofer can't, the expenses and profit on your job. So let Hire a Pro sit down with you on your approved claim. Make sure you have an approved claim, and they'll knock it out of the park for you. So again, if insurance has approved your roof replacement, give Hire a Pro a call either at 651-402-3400. That's 651-402-3400. Or visit the website, It's hirea.pro. Hirea.pro. And one more shout out before this Twins-centric Immaculate Grid here to Summit Orthopedics. You know, maybe you've had some hamstring problems or joint problems of some kind, and you're looking to get back in the lineup feeling good, right? Well, no referrals are needed at Summit Orthopedics. They offer same-day appointments and also walk-in orthopedic urgent care if you need it 7 days a week starting at 8 a.m., 25 locations across the Twin Cities and greater Minnesota, and over 150 expert physicians and physical therapists. Learn more at summitortho.com. That's summitortho.com. And boy, it's a glorious day when the Twins are in the playoffs, winning playoff games, and the Twins are on the Immaculate Grid.
Oh, yes.
Glorious
Teams,
day.
Judd.
Well, and I got a great one here. But go ahead, Phil. Explain the grid first so I don't.
We'll put 8 minutes on the clock to keep ourselves contained here. So we're looking for a Twin who was an Astro, a Twin who was a Cardinal, and a Twin who was an All-Star. We're also looking for a Blue Jay who was an Astro, a Blue Jay who was a Cardinal, and a Blue Jay who was an All-Star. And a Tiger who was an Astro, a Tiger who was a Cardinal, and a Tiger who was an All-Star. I'm going to put 8 minutes on the clock here, boys. This feels like a potential rarity score waiting to happen. I think the best we've ever done is like 30, maybe 29, 35. Below 30 would be huge for us. 8 minutes on the clock. Here we go.
All right. The
No
twin Astro, Rich Childs, Chiles. Rich Childs. He was an outfielder and a DH at times for the Twins, but he came from the Astros.
Okay. Looking at Pat Borders last night.
Yeah,
this is also a Pat Borders square.
Remember our Pat Borders? So Pat Borders fits two squares based on our conversation last night.
Oh, two squares.
Pat Borders was an Astro and Pat Borders was a Cardinal.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, well, couldn't we use it then for... Okay, so what do you have? You have a Twin...
Who was an Astro.
Let's do that. Let's use Judd's for that.
What was it, Judd?
Rich Childs.
71 to 78.
Yep.
Point one.
Point one. Let's go. Or wait a second. Let me think here. Wait.
One that comes to mind to me
Pretty sure he was a Cardinal.
is PJ Walters.
Yes.
Remember PJ Walters?
I wrote a big feature one time on PJ Walters as a
course you
beat
did.
writer about how he has a sweeping, dominant curveball.
And you should have called it the sweeper. You would have invented the sweeper.
Hold on, though. So he did, I was going to say, he did pitch for the Cardinals, not just in their minor league system. He started in 09, so PJ Walters is a great obscure one.
This is going to be really obscure.
This would be
Point one again?
.00 something.
Point zero.
.005.
Okay, we're off to a great start here.
Bang. Twin, who are some obscure Twin All-Stars?
Okay.
Well, Coom Dog, obviously.
Matt Lawton.
Matt Lawton. Trying to think of those like late 90s, early 2000s.
How about the 80s? Were there
Smalley?
any-
Roy Smalley?
Smalley in 79. Started at shortstop.
Smalley could be good.
Smalley started at shortstop in the
Who
Kingdom.
else in the 80s before... Like,
Before
did
they got
Brunansky
good.
make an All-Star game?
Kenny Landreau make it an 80?
Dude, did Tim Laudner made one, didn't he?
Lots.
88 in Cincinnati.
Didn't he?
Did Tim Laudner make that one? Steinbach was the MVP, but he was an A at that point. Hold on.
Coom Dog is, but I feel like Twins fans will
I feel
use
like
Coom Dog.
Yeah, I feel like because
Like
it's funny.
reverse psychology.
Exactly.
I'm going to write some names down here. So, Smalley will work.
I think
Coom Dog.
I think you're right on Laudner. I think
Dude, I
you're
think
right.
Laudner made an All-Star game.
He's Lods, man.
Didn't he make it in 88? It was like
80
he had like a big first half.
88
He was not a...
TK was the manager because they had won the World Series, and a few Twins made it. And I think you're right.
I'm going to star his name. We can come
I
back
know
to this.
Smalley, so I know Smalley in 79.
Okay.
Smalley, I think, will be good.
I know that one for sure.
Brandon Kinsler made an all-star team.
Brandon Kinsler. Yeah, dude. We could probably just go Brandon Kinsler. He did for sure make an All-Star team.
God, there were some.
Let's go Brandon. Declan's right. Let's go Brandon Kinsler, and then we'll circle back on Lods for future reference.
Okay.
Can I look up Lodz right now? Because he didn't play for any other team, so we don't
Yeah.
need him for this exercise.
0.1.
0.1%.
Okay,
dude.
so now we're
I just want to see. Tim Laudner. Come on, Lodz. He did,
Lodz.
dude. He made an all-star. He made an all-star game in 88. He made it
Yeah.
in 88.
for yeah.
All right,
For
I'm
TK.
closing this out.
Yeah.
Okay,
damn it.
other all-stars here. So Tigers go way back. We could do some of these names we've used before, like Hank Greenberg
So All-Star
from
game
like
started.
the 40s.
Yeah, All-Star game I think started in 1935 or 34.
33.
33.
Okay, yeah.
So if we wanted to
In
go old
Chicago.
school, we could go Hank Greenberg or
K-line?
well, Ty Cobb would have been.
I was going to
K-line.
say when
Ty
those
Cobb's before.
when those Tigers teams were losing like 100 games in the early 2000s, Dimitri Young.
Dimitri Young made an all-star.
He was-
Travis
he made-
Fryman on some bad teams.
Travis Fryman, a nice player.
So if we went
comfortable with.
new school, old school, Dimitri Young versus former league MVP
I don't-
Hank
yeah.
Greenberg from a previous Immaculate Grid.
And no
What's
one's
the
going to
lower
know.
rarity score?
Depends on the age of the people doing this is what it depends on.
Yeah. Trying to think of some other ones like
I mean, there were some bad Tigers teams
What about
in
the 90s? What
Yeah.
90s All Stars? Can you think of the Tigers?
they had like Bobby Higginson. They had Travis Fryman was like one of their best players in the 90s.
Yes.
He's for sure an all-star.
Yes.
Um,
Hey, pitchers?
did like Jeremy Bonderman.
Oh God.
I don't think he is ever good enough to be an all-star, but
No, I don't think so.
trying to think of Todd Jones. Todd Jones remember he was their closer.
Ooh.
Yeah, until he got traded here. Ooh, boy.
Trying to think of some other Tigers pitchers from the 90s.
All right.
I mean, Dimitri Young and an old school guy like I'll keep saying Hank Greenberg because I think we've used him. We used him on like a previous one for like a MVP or a Hall of Famer, and he was very low percentage. So we know they both made All-Star games.
Go Dimitri.
Okay. Declan hates the old school, hates the black and white. Dimitri Young.
Dalman's brother too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
0.7.
0.7%. Nice. We'll circle back. I'm going to write down to circle back. I'll type it on my own phone. I just want to see the percentages on Laudner and Hank Greenberg. Blue Jays All-Stars.
All-Star. I'm thinking Sean Green. Did Sean Green make the All-Star team as a
I
Blue
mean,
Jay?
he went there after LA, right? Or was he there before LA?
Tony Fernandez, possibly?
Sean Green was Blue Jays, then Dodgers, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Pat
yes.
Henkin was their pitcher in the 90s who made some All-Star games.
Tony
Then he went to the
Fernandez. Alfredo Griffin.
Devon White?
I love Devon White. What a center fielder he was.
I'm just going to write some of these down.
Oh, who was the guy that got traded to Vernon Wells?
Ooh, that's a good
Wow.
one. Vernon Wells.
Who flamed out? He was great in Toronto and then went to the
Right,
Angels and
right,
flamed
right.
out. I'm guessing he
So
was an
Pat
he had to be an
Henkin,
all-star.
Devon White.
Tom Henke, the closer.
Wait.
What do you got?
Did Pat Borders ever
Oh, that's
make an
Tempting
all-star?
fate.
dude.
Well, dude, we
tempting
could use,
fate.
but wait, we could use Borders for like half these squares because he was a blue.
Yeah,
he was
we'll
a Blue
definitely
Jay,
use him as a yes. I agree.
a Blue
with that.
Jay, Astro. I'm
Yeah.
thinking back to the teams last night, and
Yep.
I'm 90% sure that both Cardinals and Astros were in his, and then it was like White Sox. I think were one of them.
Oh, just if you want to put Borders somewhere else, at LaTroy Hawkins
That's what. Yep.
was
Astro,
Blue
yeah.
Jay.
Should we do
Blue
that?
Jay, Astro.
Yeah, but then for sure use Pat Borders somewhere. That's a great one.
This is awesome. Okay. The Hawks,
it's
0.8.
0.8.
This is epic.
Yep.
Okay.
LaTroy is such a god
let's
of
throw
this.
Pat Borders in for Cardinals and Blue Jays. I'm gonna see how much time
Sure.
we have left here.
We're sure on this.
Phil,
pretty sure.
Phil looked last night.
We just looked at it last night,
Like if he can't
and
remember that,
I'm almost
we
positive.
got problems.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Let's go!
Dex didn't trust. You didn't trust.
I wasn't
Phil.
sure. I wasn't
You
sure.
didn't trust him. You looked at it last night.
He came up on the Twin Show last night. We looked him up.
George Bell for the Blue Jays.
George Bell. I mean, Delgado's going to be a high one.
Yeah.
a Tiger Astro. I don't know how high this would be. Mike Fires, the starting pitcher.
Oh, that's
The guy who brought the
obscure enough.
Astros down.
I feel like it would be between 1 and 10. I don't think it'd be any higher than 10.
guy who brought the Astros
We'll write
down.
his name
You
down.
know, put him in. Yeah, put him in there. Put him in there.
And then we also need at some point a Tiger who was a Cardinal. Some of the names we have written down for Blue Jays are George Bell, Pat Henkin, Devon White. I know George Bell and I know Pat Henkin went to All-Star games.
Okay, Pat Henkin's going to be pretty low, right?
Was Aaron Hill the power hitting second
Yeah.
baseman? Did he make
Isn't
some
he the
All-
guy that
he
gave
might have made
Morneau
some
a
All-Star
concussion
games.
in 2010?
Well,
Might have been him, yeah.
I say we go with one that we're sure of,
Yeah.
and Pat Henkin is not going to be like we're
The only
so
question
low.
on Henkin is how high would the percentage be?
Right, but I mean, our percentage is so low right now.
Right. We don't want to ruin that either.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
we're sitting
it's not
at
gonna
below
be
5% right now. This is
it's not going to be
insane.
super high, right? I mean,
Dude,
it's Pat Henkin.
we could get like 5%.
Okay, I'm just saying I like the fact that you're sure of Pat Henkin.
If Declan's right about Aaron Hill, he would potentially be lower than Pat Henkin. Just gonna throw that out there.
well, I mean, I think Wells
haven't
was
been.
Orlando
what-
Hudson? Did Ohud make an All-Star game with
you
the
guys-
Blue Jays?
I'm recusing myself right now because this is.
The O-Dog.
Let's go
Let's-
Pat Henkin. Let's go Pat Henkin.
Let's go something we're sure with.
All right. Pat
Be low.
Henkin.
Be below 5.
0.9.
Yeah, 0.9.
Let's go.
Pat
Let's
Henkin's
go.
not a household name. Nobody remembers him.
He was good. He was like a really good
He was
pitcher. in the
really good,
90s.
yeah. But dude, you're old now.
Okay.
All right.
So we have Mike
So we need
Fires
2
written
more
down.
squares.
Okay.
Mike Fires in the bag, and that's a great name.
That's a
let's,
good one.
Let's move off that for a second here. Obscure. Wait, did Punto never played for the Tigers? Did he?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm trying to think of some other like. There's like some Twins connections in here. I think that we might be able to sniff out.
Okay, what Twins have played? Brunansky played for the Cardinals, but he never played for the Tigers. Tommy Herr never played.
Delman Young never played for
Did
the
Tommy Herr
Cardinals.
didn't come back? No.
Kyle
No.
Loesch didn't go there.
Pitchers? I'm trying to think of pitchers in the 70s or 80s.
Jack Morris didn't go there.
Did Scott Spezio play for the Tigers at any point? He was Angels, Cardinals.
I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
Neshek? Did Neshek go to the Tigers?
I don't think
No.
so.
How is there not more crossover with these two teams?
St. Louis,
Should we
Detroit.
put Mike Fires in just to
Yeah.
see where we're at here? Okay.
And that's
Be
gonna
below
low.
5. Below 5.
That's gonna be below 5.
3%.
0.9? dude.
Yes.
Oh my
don't
God!
have a
This is
single
insane.
one.
Okay, so real quick here, we're at 1,
Oh God.
2, 3, 4, like 3.5. We're at like 4.2% right now on the rarity with 1 square left. 1 square left.
I'm struggling to think of.
Come on. We got something here.
Okay, so the Cardinals.
All right. This would be high. I
Tiger.
think it'd be high because he is so ridiculous. Like this is, I think, an Edwin Square. Because he pitched for the Cardinals and he pitched. I think he actually started with the Tigers.
No, you're right. He did pit.
But I
He
think
did
that
pitch
might
for
be
those teams.
shockingly a little high because I think he actually was. He was decent with the Tigers. I know that. And I don't think he was awful with the Cardinals. Oh,
You're right. I always forget about using the Edwin Jackson
but I
cheat code
think
here,
that
but-
might ruin it.
But is it going to be more than like 15%? I mean, that would be anything.
But like,
I know you're looking for like a 1%er here, right?
God, don't get
I'm
cocky.
thinking, or like even like 5. I don't know, like something.
Jason, I'm just going to throw some Cardinals. Like Jason Hayward never played for the Tigers. Thinking back to the 90s and in the like, did Jason Isringhausen, Ray Langford,
Ray Langford didn't play for the Tigers.
Craig Monroe play for the?
Bernard Gilkey.
Just throwing random names.
Jim, I'm just trying to think of guys from like the 80s or in this case 90s.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
we got this. We got this. Ozzie Smith didn't finish his career with the Tigers.
Leon Durham didn't play for the Tigers, right? because he started the Cardinal.
I feel like there's a twin here, man. Like who's the PJ Walters? You know, who was the guy?
Here's a guy.
Remember that Esmerling Vasquez? The Twins, didn't the Twins get him from the Tigers? Or no, that they got him from the Diamondbacks.
Did who was the closer with the Cardinals that he was good, like within the last 10 years? Didn't he come back with the Tigers after like a couple times? Trevor Rosenthal.
Trevor Rosenthal.
I think he was a good closer with the Cardinals. He blew out his arm, and I think
He did make a comeback. Yeah.
And I think it was with Detroit, like within the last. It might even been within the pandemic seasons, as in 20 and 21.
I know he came back with the Royals.
He came back and bounced around the Central.
He was definitely with the Royals. And pretty good with the Royals. I mean, how high can Edwin Jackson be?
Yeah,
How high
just
can
do
he
Edwin
be?
Jackson. Just do it, Edwin Jackson.
How high can he be? Let's do it. Let's do Edwin Jackson.
All right.
And then I want to see the
Unless
list.
Judd has like a 70. Wait. Actually, hold on.
I don't.
These franchises go back 100 years.
I know. Right? This is what's frustrating me.
There's not someone from like the 60s or the 70s.
Joe Torre never played for the Tigers. Ted Simmons never played for the Tigers.
Did Ty Cobb ever play for the Cardinals?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't
No.
ever dealt to the Cardinals. Keith Hernandez went to the Mets.
It's either Rosenthal or Edwin Jackson.
Just do Edwin Jackson.
Let's do Edwin Jackson.
And then I want to see the list
Come on now.
so I can
Get
kick
us
myself.
Get us a 19.
19.
Okay. So
Okay, that's real.
Edwin was 15. He was
That's
15.
fine. That's
But
good,
dude,
though.
a 19 rarity score is our new best.
Now, can you tell us some notable Tigers and Cardinals?
Sure.
I'm going to punch in Tim Laudner in my own one here.
Placido Polanco,
Yep.
Edgar
Oh,
Renteria,
Vince Coleman.
Edgar
Vince Coleman.
Oh, 6 games.
Pete
Would anyone have
Kozma,
Give me some.
Johnny Peralta, another AL Central guy.
By the way, Tim Laudner was a 0.2%.
Tito
on the All-Star.
Francona? The same Tito Francona?
No, that's his dad.
Got it.
That's Terry's dad, but I wouldn't know.
I'm going to look at obscure games here and see if there's any former Twin that pops
There's
up
not.
on
Oh, Mark
this
Salas.
list. Mark Salas?
Mark Salas, the catcher for the Twins.
Jeff Weaver.
Although none of these guys like played a lot of games as a Cardinal, it looks like. Or okay, it's a lot of names, but it's not.
No, there's not a lot.
Oh,
of
Mike
options.
Heath.
You have to be a Cardinals or a Tigers fan to probably really get obscure with
Mike
that.
So it
He's
was
the
tough. So
catcher.
this is probably about as well as we could have done, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In retrospect, I don't feel nearly as bad. I thought there would be an obvious one.
Johnny Peralta was the most common.
Yeah.
And only 46% of people got the square right.
Only 41% got Twins Cardinals. Gary Gaetti
Yeah.
being the most obvious
Yeah.
one. Hey, great work, guys. 19% rarity score today. This is great stuff. We're ready for games 3 and game 4 at Target Field here.
Let's bring it.
This is the Score North Twin Show, pumping out daily episodes here as long as the Twins want to stay alive, baby. We'll see you guys tomorrow.